So I heard y'all wanted a podcast. And we're going to keep it black.
But we not going to keep it brief.
And it's giving range.
The same vibes and parking lot pimping.
Because it's still just not adding up.
And you better believe it's giving content.
Inclusivity and nuance at its finest.
Where peer review and pop culture collide.
And with all these degrees, it's giving educated teas.
OBO is the most unserious, serious person I've ever met.
And Lene thinks she know everything.
I'm trying to figure out how Sim is holding for maintenance when she barely holding on. What the hell? What is
I just want y'all know that I put something on my face for this. It's a new year, new me. I ain't coming to set looking crazy no more. That's strong. I'm going to try not to come to set looking crazy as often as possible.
Okay, sure. That was more believable.
Mm-hmm. And the hair looks good. It's swimming.
Yes.
Twin, where have you been? We're back. And we're in a set. And we look good. Hey, everybody. How you doing?
I love this chair.
It's actually a very good chair. Who picked the chairs? I think I picked the chairs. Anyways, happy Black History Month to everyone. I hope you like our set. We're so excited to be with you live and in color. Woo, woo. I feel like we have some explaining to do, you know, because it took us a minute to come back. Like Christmas, New Year's break turned into we wanted Black History Month to ourselves, you know? That's not necessarily the case, but we had to build out the set. We wanted to make sure when we came back to you, we were ready to come in full effect. We still need to put some tools on our tool wall, but, you know, this is it. How y'all like the set? How's it?
It's bright.
It is
and
bright.
I like that. Sets a mood.
It does. I felt excited when I came here.
Yeah.
Likewise.
He hates it.
It's not the case.
He hates it because it's not black. And there's nothing in his corner that is black. He's pissed.
There is not a lot of black in here for sure, but no, but it's we're here.
And it felt like that was your one thing when we asked you like what you wanted or your favorite color. You did say black, right?
No worries, we're here. And I'm queer. Let's talk.
I be wanting so bad to say that whenever I say we're here, and I just
It just flows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It gives a little vibe.
love that for you guys. Very
Love
much.
you guys.
Very much that. So,
Maintenance check.
woo, 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 woo.
Maintenance check.
I feel like you should give like a Beyonce situation, like a stand in like a little. No.
I wish I could, but today I don't know what happened, but I actually look very deflated.
Okay.
It's not giving me enough.
Right.
Round
It's not
of a
underwhelming if
thing.
you was to give like a situation. No, I get that. A situation. Sorry.
The people like to know what we're talking about.
So viewers at home.
Viewers at home.
Hi. It is my time for shine.
Time for shine. Boop, boop, boop.
I am with Child.
One thing OBO gonna do is appropriate.
You said what? His
Continue.
boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Thank
I'm not
you.
gonna hold you. His
I played soccer growing up.
OBO's Caribbean has been very like.
I played soccer growing up. I keep telling y'all, I played around
It's
with the
been
Caribbean
very
people,
good.
the Africans.
He said with a blood clot the other day, and I was like, "Well,
Give me some
well,
love.
blood
Stop
clot.
playing.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
But yes, I'm with Child. I'm holding a human, and we'll get into all the tea of that because it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know where to begin on it because I want y'all to also do y'all maintenance check. So do I get?
Are you saying yours is gonna be a little lengthy, and so you should go?
I feel like mine gonna be lengthy too, so I'll just.
All right, well, let's length it up. Okay.
Okay.
So it all started when
It all started.
So I got pregnant last year, and I was not only was I not expecting to get pregnant, I was expecting to not be pregnant for a very long time. I was very adamant on this year, I'm really going to be focusing on myself, getting my body back, doing the things, you know, being free of small people needing me at every second.
Yeah.
And so when Thanksgiving comes around and my period does not, I was very confused. And when I found out, confirmed everything, I was devastated. I was devastated. I was not very happy because I just wasn't in the mindset of going, my baby is 1. about to be 2 this year. So it's like you already got through the part of, okay, she can sit at a table and low-key feed herself now. Like there's a little independence happening here. And it's like, and I'm potty training her now too. So it's like, so now we're going to never stop buying diapers ever. Formula, again, formula is very expensive. I don't know if you guys know about this, but formula is so expensive that they're literally not putting them out in most stores because people are stealing formula, because that's how expensive. We had a formula shortage also last year, so that's a big thing. Breastfeeding, they only give you 2 breasts and the children want to eat all the time. Please. So it's just
don't piss me off.
They only give you 2 breasts. It's crazy.
It is actually. So mentally, just me getting ready for that process, it really put me in a little bit of a funk. Like, I don't want to call it a depression, but I started feeling like, okay, maybe it's just time to wrap up these dreams. We'll put them in the attic, and at 36 we'll come back to it. Like, it really started feeling like there's no room for me anymore, because here we are again. But after many much needed talks with friends, many much needed sermons, and just really being honest with myself and saying, you know, it's a gift for a reason. It's a talent for a reason. If you were given this thing, you're just going to need to figure it out, babe. You're just going to need to figure it out. And so things have been better. I'm a lot happier. And I'm excited for whatever is in here, you know, to change my life in the way that all my kids is crazy.
But appropriate.
Factual and correct. Astute.
In the way that both of my kids have really, really changed my life. So it's gonna be fun.
I feel like being a guy who hears women talk about unplanned or surprise pregnancies, I'm always like, how, like what? So when you, in your mind, right, I want to not be a new mommy again for a little while. So what happened in between?
I'm irresponsible and stupid.
Okay.
If that is what you're looking for. I was out here living on a wing and a prayer, and the wing fell off and the prayer fell through. So, yeah.
And it's like, what would you say to like younger girls who are kind of, like, I guess, like also not whatever? Is there any like legitimate things?
No, legit. Like, I know that I'm on here like kikiing and having a good time, and things are cool for me. But no, legit, having a child is a life-changing experience, and it does not end. Like, really get on birth control. Like, I'm not like playing around with that. And when I say get on birth control, I mean get on birth control if you are with someone, you're young, and you don't know that person for real. And when I say you don't know that person for real, like, you can spend every day with someone for years at a time and still not fully understand the gravity of them.
That's real.
Pay attention to the seasons of how long you know them. That's what's important. It's not, I don't care if you've been with this person for 5 years. If you've been with them for 5 years and they kind of in the same season, same kind of job, same kind of financial situation, same kind of friends around, nothing's changed, you really don't. Wait till the money get different. Wait till some of the friends kind of start doing their things. Wait till you become a little bit different and your seasons change, and that begins to affect them. Then you can kind of give some inventory of like, okay, I kind of see how you are here and there. And because a lot of these things, it's not just having a baby, it's having a baby with a person.
Yeah.
And it's having a baby with a person who has a family and getting to know that family and their friends and the people associated with them and so on and so forth. So I think baby making is one of those things that you don't want it to be unplanned. You don't want to be unprepared for it. So get on birth control. And also, for several reasons, let's maybe stop having unprotected sex with these men that don't really like us. I'm just saying.
It was the maybe you squeezed.
Let's maybe, because I don't want to judge anybody.
Yeah, I was coming back around to it.
I don't want to judge anybody.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But I'm saying that in my opinion, having unprotected sex with people who don't really like you, like, maybe they don't have your best interests at heart. Maybe they don't really care enough to tell you what they have going on, or if you do get pregnant, are maybe not going to be there. So, like, maybe let's use a condom.
I get it.
And I want to third that motion by saying, even with the absence of those two things, I get when we fall in love, condoms. How do you spell that? You know, that's often what happens in a lot of relationships. But I don't care when nobody tells you. There's still a level of self-control that is available to everyone who participates in sex.
Absolutely.
To be able to exert that self-control to make this result less possible. It's not to say that it is a thing that will work 100% of the time. Yes, I do encourage you to use protection. Yes, I do encourage women who, and birth control is helpful for a whole slew of reasons, not just not trying to get pregnant.
Correct.
But also, like, I don't care what nobody say. Like, I don't care what now niggas say about, oh, I was just, no. We need to be in clear communication all the time. You do not have permission to do certain things without my consent. Like, that is also part of the sexual health conversation that I think we're missing. And I think a lot of people like to treat sex. We learned a lot about this when the conversation of consent became more popular, because people like to act like sex isn't a place where you can have those conversations, or once you get into the grounds of sex, it's just like free reign and you should just be feeling and going with the flow. And if you say anything, or the lights are on, if the music isn't a certain kind of way, it messes up the feng shui. No, if you wanted to, if you would. If they wanted to, they would. If she wanted to, she would. And not just that sentiment doesn't just go with gifting you things or doing things for you in a relationship. If they wanted to respect you, they would. So yeah, but you also got to respect yourself. So yes, I do think always it is a conversation between two people, but the communication piece has to be something we talk about more. Even when people talk about, I was drunk and I didn't know, and I've been drunk several times. I know exactly what I'm doing at all times. Even when I'm on my ass and I might not be able to do too much, I know exactly what the hell going on.
Okay.
Maybe that's just me.
People do black out.
Yeah, people do black out. I'm just saying you would not do things in any level of inebriation or excitement that you wouldn't already do in your right mind.
I agree.
Those are my thoughts on the subject.
I just also wanted to add to that if you're having sex with someone, you should be able to ask them anything. And I think that sometimes we're not made to feel comfortable enough with that. But if you are intimate with someone, because that's what that is, sex is intimacy. If you're intimate with someone, that intimacy should not be limited to the physical experience. That intimacy should extend to having conversations. Hey, so I like this or I don't like this. I'm ready for this or I'm not ready for this. I'd like this to lead to there should be that space. I feel like our generation really drops the ball with that, because a lot of us are more intimate emotionally with our friends than we are with the people that we're having sex with. And that's a big problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So that's my tea time.
Okay.
That's what's going on with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on with y'all?
Well, mine's short, so I'm good.
It's your turn not to piss us off.
No, how has life been? Life's been good. I'm in therapy. Therapy has been literally amazing. I've learned that I have a difficulty with boundaries, which was weird to me because I don't think of that when I think of myself. But basically, if I don't think a person will understand it, I don't feel comfortable communicating it. And I often feel like I will either be guilted for their confusion or be like, and at the risk of using a buzzword, gaslit because of their confusion, right? And so for me, I think about, I was running a scenario by her today in the session, and I was like, yeah, I want to communicate this thing to a friend, but I feel like the boundary sounds weird, and I'm not sure that he'll understand the boundary. So I find myself regressing. I don't want to say it. And she was just listening to me talk, but I'm like, I don't really want to say a thing that sounds weird only to not be taken seriously or be gaslit or be guilty or whatever the case may be. And I find myself not setting boundaries because of that. And then the fear of the boundary being set ends up being the reality either way. Because I think a lot of us feel like if I set a boundary that's too harsh or too whatever, it'll put a weird thing between our friendship and we won't be cool anymore. But if I don't set it, I'm going to start resenting you or just pulling back.
Right.
So either way, the friendship is kind of going to dissipate. And I found myself in those scenarios recently. Also, my mom texts me. I think we've talked about my mom on this podcast enough. But texted me recently, and I think it was you. I don't remember who was, but it was saying that that's a parental version of an apology, even though there was no apology present. Just making that part clear.
What did she send you again?
She said, "I know how you like words," and sent me a link to a poem, like a love poem this guy wrote for his girl, and and I started doing my OBO thing, which was like create things that were not present. You know, oh, she meant this, and oh, she did this, and oh, da 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 da, and you know. But I think after coming off of my OBO-ness, it was like, what was present was a neglect of accountability. I'm uninterested, and I moved on with my life. And I think like this season has been like heavy on the advocating for self vibes. You know what I'm saying? Just because I've been for the past 10, 12 years been like working to be taken seriously in so many arenas, right? Like.
Right.
Not be pretty, not be too funny, not be not funny, not, you know what I'm saying? You can contort yourself all day long to try to fit and mend and be taken seriously and respected and blah, blah, blah. But I think I'm landing somewhere in the arena of if I respect myself, then like I don't have to like necessarily prove that to literally anybody. Like literally. But I think when you're in these systems that almost require you to show up a specific way, or that kind of make you feel like there's a language in this space. There's a culture of the fashion girls. There's a culture of the beauty girls. There's a culture of the lifestyle bloggers. There's a culture at hand. And I think I found myself in that space. But I'm more and more leaning in the space of like, I don't really care about if I want to get the thing or do the thing or have the thing or say the thing. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I just don't really have a lot more time for that. And I've been like, doing way more of that in this season of my life, just because I think I've had more resources. And I will admit, I often say this, and popular or not, I think resources do help with making a lot of choices for self. Resources give you time that most people don't have. I was literally at Waffle House before I came here, and I'm about to cry at the daggone joint. And I'm like, oh, if you crying here at this Waffle House.
Not in the Waffle House.
Okay, but in my mind, Waffle House is like a lot of unhoused people who are in and out of the space and asking for money and the things. And I was just grateful. And it hit me that like what I've been searching for the majority of my life has been time. And I have that now. Like most people are in the rat race of trying to have an aimless weekday and a slow morning. And most citizens will never have an aimless weekday or a slow morning. It just won't be a reality they have. And a lot of my weekdays be aimless. And all the mornings be slow. All the mornings be slow. You might catch me around 10 on a good one. Like I'm talking about like a day where I'm productive, petunia. Like I woke up thinking I'm about to kill it 10 o'clock. And and that's once a week, maybe.
Okay.
But again, like how many people will never be able to say those words? Yeah. We go from school, which is like that weekday is the things, to college, to the work world until you die. And it's like how grateful I am to be able to be in a position, whether current or forever, where I can have some like whatever. And I don't want to negate or take that for granted by giving too many people access to me in a way that doesn't allow how I want to live my life to be free. Because what are we talking about at this point? Like, no more metaphoric closets, no more whatever. Like, even down to cursing, I was thinking so much. Like, I remember I said ass in a comment. I was like, that's a pretty ass something. And someone, you know, responded to it, so we got a whole bunch of replies, whatever. And a lot of the replies are not him cursing. And I'm like, not me cursing being a thing, like, you know. But it's like, but then again, why wouldn't you think that if you have gotten this version of me that is a version of me, sure. And you know, like when they said a while ago, like I'm the most unserious person I know, and that's kind of like how it goes, because like, you know, I am serious. I think life is about, I think humanity is important, and I spend a lot of time thinking about humanity. But I'm gonna laugh a bit about it, you know. It'd be funny, you know. And I just like, again, long story long, I am in a position now where I'm just flowing and not saying that you should feel as a listener responsibility to flow, because I have more resources now, and I want to make that part clear. I think sometimes we think about, I'm about to go flow too, and I get why you may feel like you cannot flow right now, and that could be fair for you. I'm not trying to make anybody feel like they have to flow, but I will say that there will come a time where you have access to flowing, and when that time happens, I really hope you notice it sooner rather than later. Because a lot of us are still in pursuit of things that we already are, you know, because no one tells you. I always make the reference about shoes. No one tells you when your foot stops growing. Well, I don't know if y'all grew up with money or not, but you know, you get the habit size too big because it's gonna grow. But no one ever tells you stop getting a habit size too big, sister. Your foot is done. Like, so I'm wearing 11 and a half. So I'm already 11. So I'm like 25. Sweetie, no one said your foot was done. And so it's like, I hope you notice when it's your time to shine, then you time to shine.
I had to stop myself from laughing at Time for Shine so that I could have my time to respond. But I love that your level, like, because your interest in yourself is increasing, your disinterest in others is what's changing and like how they feel about you. Yeah. But I did want to say to the first thing that you said about boundaries with friends, do you ever feel like when you're not setting those boundaries, like when you have a friend and they have an ick, like it's a thing that they do that's just like really bothering you, that it just begins to like sour it, like you don't want to be in the friendship even before it gets to the point of like draining you? Like, does that thing ever begin to grow to a point where it's like...
For sure. I was literally telling my therapist today, I used to pride myself on not having had arguments with partners or friends, but I don't last long enough to even have them, right? Because I think the onset of a possible argument, I'm out of here because I don't have time, you know, opposed to doing the hard thing, which is I wasn't comfortable with this. And I think, I'm being fully transparent, a lot of it was me not wanting to feel soft. I think for me, I don't feel comfortable being scared or offended. I don't like...
Vulnerable.
If I'm afraid... I'm going to conquer that fear. I'm not that person. I need to get over this because to me, I can't live with a fear. I have to get over it. So I'm going to go figure out a way to contest it and make it happen. And with offense, it makes me feel soft. So I just avoid that. Now, fear, I'll meet dead on. Offense, I feel like a little hoe and I'm like a little punk. And it's just like, I don't have time. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, hey, are we still friends? We're not really that much of friends. A colleague, who used to be who used to be
throw around that friend word a lot, and I'd be like, "How many friends? I ain't never seen that one of these people."
Yeah, who used to be a friend, would just always say certain things, right? And I didn't want to be the sensitive one. I didn't want to be the one who's always rubbed the wrong way. However, I felt like you were always taking jabs. I'm like, but to your point, my bags were at the door. You had one more jab, and I was gonna be up out of here. But it was unfair to him because maybe he thought that was comfortable in the space,
right?
Because no one ever told him, especially me, that I wasn't cool with it. So I'm learning now, like, you can't keep not communicating things, but holding people accountable because it's unfair, and I wouldn't want that in return. Because I know for me, I'm thinking like nicknames. I'm gonna give you a nickname within the first 2 seconds. I'm gonna be I'm Johnny. You know, like I'm giving you a nickname because I want you to have one. If I feel close. I'm like, yo, what's up, girl? Like, I just wanted you to feel comfortable with me. However, everybody not with that. My name is John.
I was just about to say, have you ever given me a nickname?
He's never given either of us a nickname.
Well, I mean, Sim is a nickname.
Sim is what everyone...
When the name is already nicked.
Sim is the girl. Oh. That's it.
Oh, okay.
So we are as just because friends. I feel like that's why we never got
a nickname.
I was gonna say no, I don't like that nickname shit. So I was just like, oh, when did I say that to him? And he never gave me a nickname because of
maybe
that.
I'm not sure, but
I call you Lenise though.
Well, that's fine because that was my Instagram handle at a time.
Yeah.
But when people try to do like this one,
Lenene and like all of that,
disgusting, disgusting. Somebody, hey L. Who is that? And it's just like,
you do not give me.
I love a letter.
No, I hate a letter.
What up, L? I'm L Boogie. What up, L Boogie?
My name does not bode well for nicknames. I remember this one guy in college walked up to me, yo, El Neezy. It's already there. I don't understand why you felt like you had to make it special. And I find it disgusting. So now you can call me Lene, you know? I just don't have a name that bodes well for nicknames, so I'm disinterested. And don't try Nene.
Same.
I love nicknames. they used to call me, so my brothers and my sorority sisters used to call me Asusu because of my name Ashura.
Oh, stop.
And I thought that was so cute.
That is cute.
I had a boy that I used to talk to, and he used to call me, what was it? Aurora Borealis, even though it was long. Like, you know, the lights in the northern lights. Oh, okay.
Do you know?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Oh, I was about to say,
it was actually
the colorful
like
lights that are like somewhere in the
I'm
north.
gonna send you a picture after.
Okay.
But yeah, like I love a nickname. Shoo was another one.
Me too. Call me O. I'm like, we're friends.
I can't call you O.
Why not?
Oh. Oh, what for?
But I also wanted to say something. So, y'all are ridiculous. I wanted to say something to your thing about not wanting, like feeling like you wouldn't understand anyway. So I'm just not even gonna say anything because I think that's a valid point. Like I don't think I told y'all that I spoke with my mom earlier this week, and in the Caribbean, in the Caribbean that I come from, in Jamaica, what you said is very true. That idea of like, I'm offended, you hurt my feelings, soft, nobody cares about it, whatever. And it was the first time that I said to her, because she was like, I don't know what would make you not want to speak to me. Like, I don't know what I could have done. I don't know what I could have done that would make you be like, girl, have a good one.
Yeah.
I said, you have been very hurtful over a very long period of time. And because I have just kind of like laughed it off or taken it on the chin or accepted that this is just how things are, I didn't feel comfortable telling you, hey girl, so you're kind of hurting my feelings and making me feel very small and just crushing the little bit of self-esteem I have left. If you could just like dial it back even a little,
a hair,
I could live, you know, I could be okay. And as we kept talking about it and we got to places of me identifying like things that she's done that were wrong and like saying like, do you feel like this was wrong? Well, yeah. Can you apologize? No, because it proved that I said, hold on. Do you feel like this is wrong? No, yeah. But it's the truth though. And those are things where sometimes I do think it's important to identify that it's a useless conversation for some people. Some people just really will never understand like where you're coming from, why the errors of their ways, whether their intentions were to be an error or not, are not okay. And then you end up just being more frustrated in the end and wasting a call that you could have been listening to a podcast.
Subscribe.
So I get it.
Oh, comment, like.
Not
I feel like we
subscribe.
should say things like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was actually a space to be like, podcast, us.
Yeah.
no.
If you'd like to listen to one. But yeah.
Your turn. What's popping?
What's poppin', slime? Fuck them 5. Nah, 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 nah.
Okay.
I feel like I'm always coming with some like grand perspective, blah 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 blah. But I guess I just don't know which way to start because I don't want one thing to feel like it's informing the other. But I guess I'll just start here. I was watching. I don't know if you guys have seen Who the Fuck Did I Marry? It's a series from this woman on TikTok. I'm on part 15 of 52. But essentially she's talking about how she got married to a pathological liar and details from start to finish what happened. And like I said, I'm only on part 15, so I was taking a break. She's putting them in 10-minute clips. So hopefully somebody gives the lady something, like we get a show written out of this because she's giving us all the details possible for a very good Lifetime story. But I took a break and I went on Instagram that, you know, like shows you the threads because they're really trying to get people on threads. And I don't know if it's going to work, but it was a thread from the Washington Post. And it said that Alabama has just now ruled that embryos are children. Frozen embryos are children.
Okay.
What is that? Yeah.
So when women go through IVF, I can't even say what IVF stands for.
Well, I know what an embryo is. I'm saying, like, what does that? Just say more.
So if I decided to freeze my eggs with my partner and now I hate him and want nothing to do with him and would like to say, actually, let's close this project down.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
I can't.
Yeah. So I didn't even read more. I just got this feeling of like sadness. And I guess that's something that I've been dealing with a lot. Someone asked me when I was on tour for the parking lot, which was a really great experience. She said, how do I deal with my rage? And I was like, I don't know if I get angry anymore. I get sad at a lot of stuff. Some stuff does like piss me off, like it hit, but you know, anger is a secondary emotion. So when I thought about it, I was like, you know, not even playing into the angry black woman trope or the to be Negro is to be angry all the time. Like, if anger is a secondary emotion, what am I really feeling? And like, it's sadness. And I saw this creator talking about hopelessness. And what's really crazy is that I'm experiencing these emotions at the same time where I'm having a literal breakthrough in my personal life. Like, I talked a lot before the holiday about how I was going through a season, how things were different for me, and I was trying to move out of my apartment to save so I could buy a home, because I just felt the amount that I was paying on rent for the circumstances I was in was ridiculous, and I could be putting this into a home, something that is investing back into myself. And in the grand scheme of things, I didn't have to change anything. And, you know, God was working on my behalf, and I was learning a lot of things spiritually and growing very much spiritually. And now that I have matured in certain ways, God is rewarding that, and I'm getting back to the place I'm used to being, and even like further than that, doing some things I never could have imagined myself doing. And I'm in a really good place, but at the same time, the world is not.
Right.
And I keep getting reminded of that. And I'm just really like, I did a ramble video on TikTok, but I don't think it's circulating because it's a little bit longer. I'm literally just rambling. So I don't mind repeating it. And I think it's worth having like conversation with other people about. One of the things that's really just getting to me is as I'm seeing the world as I'm seeing worlds open up for me and watching the world literally close for other people, because the ruling in Alabama doesn't affect me immediately. You know, I'm not in there with IVF babies, and I've just decided I don't want to go forward. Like, it's not affecting me personally, but that's affecting people like deeply. And I just feel really torn because in the direction I'm going, it's very difficult to just, Siri girl, nobody is talking to you. And that's the man. He always be trying to keep you down. He always be trying to distract you from what's really going on in the world. But anyway, child. But it's just difficult to, I'm going to say it like this. I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast before, but I brought it up to my partner recently. We're having a conversation. And I was saying that there's always going to be someone younger who feels like you're doing it wrong. No matter how well you've done it, no matter how notable you've come for doing it. Like when you watch Selma, you saw how the boys from SNCC was not feeling Dr. King at first, you know, and one in particular just like didn't care how big or how important he was. Dr. King wasn't radical enough for him. And I'm just moving into an arena where I don't feel like people who have been impressed with me will continue to be impressed, if that makes any sense.
Why?
Because I want to go a route that makes me happy. And it's not necessarily a route that will hurt anyone, but I'm not going into politics. I'm going into entertainment. And in the entertainment world, there's not a lot of avenues to go in where people aren't terrible, you know. The things aren't linked to people who are terrible. And so in as much as I've been trying to make judicious decisions and also making meetings very uncomfortable for my management, people who represent me, because I'm not willing to do certain things, or if a company wants me to do something, I want to talk about their involvement in this and how I'm not willing to say that. And like, I'm really having to stretch myself to be who I am in these spaces that I feel like I'm called to be in. But anyway, I say all that to say, like, I'm a person who's made their entire platform off championing for people who have been marginalized, championing Black people, educating the world on Black experiences, making world experiences digestible to Black people. But even to keep that sustained, I feel like I have to tap into the system just enough to sustain it, just enough to keep it where it needs to be so it can have the platform that it deserves to continue to reach the audiences.
When you say just enough, what do you mean?
I just mean like
no more, no less.
I just mean that it's not as simple as not engaging the system at all. It's not as simple as carving a space out and doing everything radically, which is why I brought out the point earlier. I watched Dear White People, the series, and you have Logan Browning, which plays the main character, Sam. And then I want to say in the last season, there's a younger character who comes in who is so obsessed with her. But when she gets there, she feels like Sam isn't as revolutionary as she thought she was. And I feel like I might be going into that phase where people just don't see or understand. And that's okay, because I definitely think we constantly need new minds who are willing to break apart the obstacles in front of us even more and more and more. But I don't know, man. I feel like I'm talking in circles, and I just there's just been so much going on that I'm like, I don't feel like I deserve to be reaching these new heights and these new links and having access to these things when the world is shit.
What do you deserve then, if not that?
I don't know. I don't, and it's not a simple question to answer, because I don't think you can look at it that black and white. I don't think that you can.
So why don't you free yourself from looking at it so black and white?
Yeah, because
All right, go ahead. You're doing it to you.
I know I'm doing it to me, but like when you have the amount of people that count on you to be and do a thing and to get on your soapbox, and the moment they feel like they're no longer a part of the picture, it just makes you feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. But I had to remind myself, even in talking about all these things, like, there are people who paid Dr. King dust. There are people who felt like Malcolm X was not doing what he was supposed to be doing as a revolutionary that he was. And as long as I remember that, and I do what I am told to do in terms of from God, not nobody else, as long as I'm walking the footsteps he's put in front of me, I'm fine. I guess I'm just scared that I'm going to let people down.
So, you're not talking in circles, and it's actually really crazy. I just saw a post on Instagram that describes exactly what you're speaking about. I'm going to pull it up so that I don't misquote it, but essentially what it was, it's an art exhibit that existed, I think it started like in 2014 or something like that, but I'm going to show it to you, and then we can go ahead and put a visual up when we show the people, but you see what that is. So what it is, it's an art piece, it's titled Can't Help Myself. Okay. And it's programmed to contain the hydraulic fluid that you're seeing on the floor that keeps leaking out. And so what it is, it's like this big machine that keeps leaking out fluid, and every time it leaks out fluid, it's programmed to make sure that it brings it back in so that it can survive, right? But it also is programmed to do a little happy dance for people like who come and see the exhibit. So when it senses that people are around, it does its happy dance, right? But as the exhibit went on, because this exhibit existed for a period of years, the arm started to get less, like it started to wear out a little bit. So it didn't have as much energy to do the happy dances. It now spent most of its time leaking out the fluid and trying to clear up the fluid, right? Got to the point in 2019, the machine died out. It couldn't do it anymore. But the entire time, the machine was battery operated. It never had to actually do any of that. It never had to actually keep those fluids in, right?
I'll cry right now.
So when I listen to you and I think about us in the human condition, a lot of times we're spending our entire lives doing a thing that we think we're designed to do, not recognizing that there are things that already exist in us that really don't require us to have to do any of those things. Somebody just made it up. And I think you're on a really great path of recognizing that, to say that it feels strange because I'm deprogramming myself to do something that feels more internally right. And I may lose people along the way, but I got to do it anyway. But it does feel weird. And it's that moment of doing something that is opposite what you, not your nature, but what you've been doing for so long. So I get it.
That was really beautiful, and thank you for that. And I appreciate what you just said, because it also just turned on the light bulb that I know full well, like in my common sense brain, that I'm never going to make everybody happy. That in fact today there are people who hate me. In fact today there are people who dislike messages that I put out because I feel like I'm not telling the whole picture, or my perspective on blackness isn't their perspective on blackness. And I know that. I just feel like I'm in such a I forget what they call these seasons. I feel like it's another buzzword or a trendy thing, but like a moment where you're breaking through to something else, it feels like the biggest shift that I'll be making. And I'm I'll cry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I feel like I'm grieving the season I was in.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm grieving that because it does feel like a loss. And I feel like it's one of the types of grief you experience when you see something dying in front of you. And I feel like I'm speaking very ominously, and I don't want people to think that I'm just like abandoning the work that I'm doing, because I'm not. I'm just shifting into what it's requiring of me right now, and it's just not going to be as well received as me getting into my parking lot every Friday and spouting off, what people want to hear. And I'm just grieving that. That's all.
And that's okay. It's fair.
I sometimes think, like, why does God allow us to see who we're helping intimately? Because I think about how the call doesn't come from the audience, right? It comes from there. And so if I was just giving my call and doing my thing with no understanding or visual of who I was helping, I could just continue to feel led and go where I need to go. But the problem arises when I feel like I have an intimate tie to the people that I'm helping, right? Like, you feel seen by me, you feel heard by me, you feel responded to by me, you feel all these things. But again, I was just about doing what I feel led to do. I was here this week and God told me to go here, so I'm over here again. But I think we get lost in the consumer of it all. Even now when you just gave that caveat, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going, that moment was about you. And if we don't stop and give ourselves not just the freedom, but the liberation within that freedom to have moments to be about us again in the midst of, and I hate to be all cliche, but in the midst of pouring, you're going to be depleted. So now it's going to be a catch-22 when you're not what they need you to be, but you're also not who you need you to be.
Right.
And then what happens? You know what I'm saying? Because I think so much about how a lot of people who are in positions of advocacy, activism, the things, people tend to latch on and then start to direct you unknowingly. Like, y'all kind of started to steer where I went, and the comments reflected what I should say next, and the this and the that. And so whether you had a plan or not, it's like, dang, well, I kind of had a plan that I wanted to do this for a couple of years, and then kind of, do my over here, do over here, which I actually did an initial question, because it's like, well, everybody else gets to maneuver and go in and out and the things, but you
don't.
It's not fair. Even now, I tell you often, like, influencer space or the brand partnerships is my 9 to 5. That's not the dream. But for some people, that's the dream, which is fine. But that can't burn me out, so I have nothing to give to the dream.
Yeah. And I was just going to do a little ditty at the end, but I feel like you're talking so much about why I started Vane. If you don't know, Vane is launching on this Friday, the 23rd. Teacups and tea and bath tea and candles will all be available. But yeah, I still feel like that's a work in progress. The concept is real. It is solid, but it's something that still has to be practiced. And that's allowing it to be okay to be about you. And I even think I'm I don't know what, not really shooting myself in the foot, but hanging myself over a barrel, because I even did Vane for others. I even am proselytizing the message of it being okay to pour into self for other people to take that on, but still scared to take it on myself because of the personality or whatever pedestals people put me on. I'm constantly policing the amount of humility that I show, like, publicly. So yeah, I mean, and also because of my own experiences, I know how necessary it is, but it's that thing of like, are you taking the medicine that you're making?
You better be a poet.
And so this will be a journey for sure. Like, I can look good in a promo. I can feel the vibes. I can play the part, but it's difficult to practice in real time because it's just such a nasty projection people put onto you when you start to get a little selfish.
What are some ways you're trying to practice that?
So did you want to embarrass me on that
Oh, no,
I said work in progress.
Oh.
Coming. It's
Do I try?
Got you. We're
actively?
trying
I
to
don't
try.
know.
I heard
It's a
you.
We're trying to try.
Got it. Okay.
But
yeah,
no,
they were sisters.
No, seriously, I think getting to the place of being okay with it is the way I'm trying. It's the way I'm getting there.
That's good.
You know, I think most recently I've been turning questions around to my team. I've already been working on things like delegating, but really cutting myself out as a middleman. What do you think should be done? Well, let me know when you guys figure it out. You can bring it to me at this time. And standing in the awkwardness of that, like even if it's over text and I'm like, I know this is probably going to feel like I have an attitude, but I need you to start practicing getting it done without me because I need me. I need me to be my fullest me, to be the best me for others because I am nothing but a servant. I did the gift that I have isn't for me to hoard to myself. And even on the tour, that was one of the best feelings. Not that, and my boyfriend made jokes as he's my DP and he traveled with us, and I would never stop and get stuff out the car. That's not my job to get this stuff out the car. At least not right now. You see what I'm saying? But it felt so good from the tour, from the promotional shoot we did for Vane, to have people who were professionals, who were good at what they did, to all be doing their part, and I just had to be the talent. And even in the last shoot that I did, that was the most confident I've ever felt in front of a camera because I wasn't worried about the production schedule. I had time to practice a couple things in the mirror, just like really get in tune with the camera, because I'm also not worried about the next move and the next move when the models are getting here and how things need to be posed. Like I'm just here and I'm just present, and I think that's a big way I try to be Vane right now, is being fully present so I can do what I'm supposed to do. You can be good at a lot of things. You can be great at a lot of things, but you do yourself a disservice when you do not give all the attention to the thing that you're supposed to be doing. And it's easy to apply that. It's much easier to apply that in microcosms like projects, things that have a beginning and an end, but to life and the way that you move, it's just much more difficult for me. And maybe I'll try more by posting and leaving, by not coming back to engage or whatever, but just doing and going, because these moments will ebb and flow. They will come and go. And so will people. But yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me.
I mean, you're better to others when you're better to yourself. That's just how the game goes. And I think listening to you felt reflective for me. That's why I just was asking questions to legit get your perspective on how you're managing, because I too came into the space kind of similarly, right? Like advocating for queer people, and then people were like, you stopped and started getting dressed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
like, hello?
Stopped and started getting dressed.
But it's, right, but it's like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying, every Wednesday we were talking about different microaggression and the things, and it was, but again, I'm not gonna be no good to you if I'm not good to myself. And also I have to acknowledge when I also, not this is not for you, but for me it was like I have to acknowledge that I have to switch it up a little bit, right? Like not just from an aesthetic perspective, but from like I don't have a lot more to provide this subject matter. I'm more vast than this. I'm more expansive than this. You know what I'm saying? And I think people have a funny way of saying, well, this is how I'm helped by you. So continue to help me the way you've been helping me. Yeah, but I got a whole bunch of other folks I can help too, that I can speak to.
And how I'm going to help you? Ain't nobody paying me to help you. And I got the bills.
I still have to be sustained. Paid. Come on now, how am I get there?
The bills want to be paid. I don't
know. But it's like, oh, like, no, like I felt seen by you. And when you leave, I no longer feel seen by a person. And I recognize that being a really real thing for you. However, there's so much more that I have to provide to this world. And I think giving yourself the grace and the space to do that is such a luxury. And I think even in the luxury that you're in now of having the space too, and the team too, and the things too, giving yourself a little bit more like, like big ups. Like that's big. I think small. You know what I'm saying? And I think like as you navigate new waters, the waters will tend to turn.
I like that. I just wanted to say one last thing too, because I think that a lot of times we focus on the blessing at hand, and we get so married to it that
Yeah.
we don't get to look at the other things. And even the people that are like, well, you serve me in this way, I'm going to move out of the way, and then somebody else is going to serve you in a way you still didn't know you needed to be served. Because before parking lot pimping, nobody was doing parking lot pimping. You know, you came and created a lane in an arena. And I also say, like, when I personally started following the handle Laneezy, it had 1,100 followers, right? And then one day this girl, it did. It had 1,100 followers. And you got into a parking lot and you changed over 700,000 lives. That's crazy. That's nuts. So imagine now you're about to get into these new lanes, you holding on to these 700,000 lives that you changed, and then there's millions of lives waiting for you to touch them. Ciao. Time for shine.
Is there a fear of like not being as great in a different space?
Absolutely not.
Do you have a fear?
She's a Capricorn.
I mean, that was for the space. It wasn't just for you. Do you feel that way?
Do I feel that way? I think, yeah. I've always felt that way because I feel like I've never allowed myself to be great for Sim. Like me and Lene spoke about that even with like doing Hope for Maintenance. Hope for Maintenance was the first time that I sat down and was like, oh wait, let me just be me. I can just do a thing for me. I can just be myself. I have spent my entire career being on set, behind cameras, telling people, I think we should try it this way. Have you ever thought about this? Doing the emails, doing that. Like I've spent my entire life being somebody's something. And so this is like, and that's why I was so upset, not because I was having a baby. I love babies. I love being a mama. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's very cute. But I was upset at being pregnant again because I was like, God, I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
I went from 10,000 to 60,000 followers in less than 5 months. And that was me being me, please. Like, I really want this. This time to shine, and now you took it. So,
I would just like to say that I've been trying to, time to shine. What are y'all talking about?
I've been trying to, time to shine.
What
the name of the episode. Time to shine.
Yes.
Just let it roll.
Who is that? What are they?
It's your time. It's your
where
moment.
do you get it from?
I got it from OBO. OBO, where did you get it from?
Somebody Caribbean. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been.
I just was trying to play.
A while.
I know it. I've been trying to play like I've been in on the jokes ever since.
Yeah.
You can always throw in that they were sisters. You know.
Oh, okay.
We
Well,
have-
most of my little mannerisms now are informed by this man.
I think both of us, we just kind of like
community.
take our things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that though. I get you. I get what you're saying. I feel that way.
But
sometimes.
yeah.
Every now and again. I think I don't like doing what I don't know how to do.
Okay.
And I think I'm learning that I got to get over that.
Yeah.
And you can be really good over here. Even now, I think, even for myself, with each new content, it's almost like I'm starting over. Like building an appetite for a new thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it can be difficult because you're like, I'm used to this viewership or this reception or this what have you, but I'm over here in a whole nother lane. Like, right, you can be the best at makeup and be a terrible dresser. You can be the best at speaking but be a terrible whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I find myself be okay with being new and continually being new. Because if I'm not continuously new, then I'm stagnant, right? And so I think I got to be more comfortable in those arenas because it's about to get really interesting.
Ooh.
But I be feeling like it's just when you're used to getting like applause every time you do something and then you go into something new and then you don't get the applause that you're used to, that be the part for me.
The real tea is when you get booed.
Yeah, for sure.
Forget silence. Boo! You look a fool.
For sure. I do feel that, especially with the social content, and I'm really self-conscious about it because I don't know, I get this feeling like the people don't care about the girl. They care about how seen they feel. And if I'm not doing something that reflects their experience, girl, what is this? Oh, you cute. Best of luck. Not my vibe. And I just be like, damn, I need y'all to support this vibe so I can, so I can do some other vibes. So I do feel that way, but I do think in terms of branching out into other spaces and doing more of what's familiar to me, just in new avenues, I'm totally fine with that. But trying to you're right, trying to build another audience, because you do get the silence when you keep refreshing the page and that play button still says 261.
It's insane.
Not thousand, just period.
Yeah,
0 comments. You be like, damn, maybe should I boost this post? I put it in my story.
Boo. when her booing is
OVO had a whole like sit down talk about my content and what I wanted to do and whatever. We went to Ross, we went to Target, we got little trinkets and whatever. I redecorated my whole loft. Ooh. I woke up early in the morning, I did the content, recorded the content. The brand reached out to me. We want you to be an official ambassador.
Ooh. Don't piss me off, Sam. Don't piss me off.
I looked at the views on this content.
Oh no.
So I'll never do it again.
Okay.
What was
Let's shut it down. I'm just gonna go back to what
were the views?
I wanted to give up.
My YouTube
it
makes
was
me
like
feel that way every
400
time.
yesterday. It's 866 today. It's striving towards 1,000.
But
I'm gonna boost it.
But if 866 people saw you in person, that's a lot of people. Let's keep it hot.
Please.
All right.
I'll just be honest.
Piss me off.
It would still be a time to shine. If 866 black people was in your face, you would have to.
Here's the real tea. 866 people saw it and 4 liked it. That means I was in the middle of Times Square on a guitar giving my life, and
got
the people passed by, and I got $3.50.
Wait, why did you get $4?
Because it wasn't a
somebody somebody ain't like it all the way.
A little change. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's all the things. Child, I wanted to do a Negroes Online. We definitely get back to a regular episode structure next time, but I wanted to give us a beat to talk about the Negroes Online.
Absolutely.
The energy is already hot, and I know we have some things to
She's
rehash.
not about to pass our jingle.
1, 2, 3. Niggas Online.
Oh, yeah. I swear, please.
He never wants to do it anymore.
I don't know what he is.
Here we go.
I don't. Now that I have music is crazy. Now that I'm a recording artist and I can't get with y'all's
Recording Academy, and to be Grammy nominated, it's been a blessing. I wasn't expecting it, when I told them, I said, "You guys, just give it to Victoria Monet. I'm not tripping. I think she's a sweet girl. You know what I'm saying? I like her tunes. So just give her mine." So she was only supposed to win 2, but I ended up giving her 1 because what were you guys saying? What's going on? Niggas Online.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
I wasn't going to miss that moment.
Okay.
So.
No, I was trying to make sure I didn't forget something, because you know how people be getting Grammy nominations because they got a credit or 2 on something. So I thought we missed something, and it was foolishness.
Jay-Z did say what he said.
Okay.
Because some of y'all don't belong in the category.
And you know what?
What's the online? What's
I love when a man get up there and say the things that need to be said. And what was so funny to me is that he didn't get up there and say it like he was saying some speech. Like he wasn't even like, this is a critique for the and some of y'all don't even belong here, and she got all the Grammys and y'all didn't give her best album yet. Like just kind of rattling off. And that's what I love so much about it, because it's almost comical. I don't have to come up here. Why would I waste my breath and my energy trying to be serious with y'all when y'all are unserious?
Absolutely.
Fair.
It was him calling Beyonce that young lady.
I love that.
That was very cute.
It was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Very cute. Have you guys given a listen to the new
to
tunes?
16 Carriages?
16 Carriages.
I haven't heard that one. I heard the faster one. It ain't that.
I'm still not sure what the carriages are. I've listened to a couple breakdowns on TikTok, but I just know it's deep.
Yeah. I think people are pretty much in a ballpark of the years, a set of years of childhood that she gave away, even though like the numbers don't exactly match up. Like 16, she started. Well, she's been a star since forever, but she got signed when she was 15, and she been recording more than 16 years.
Like, I don't think we're supposed to.
I don't know. And it's Beyonce's business. She's never gonna tell us.
Correct.
You know. But I thought that song was beautiful. Texas Hold'em I thought was cute.
That's the faster one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel the same way I felt about Renaissance, though, as a person who knew nothing about house music. I was like, okay, Beyonce, all right, you know, release your job, wiggle. Yeah, that's how I felt about it. And then when it was in the album and it's complete, I was like, release your wiggle, release your job. You know, so I'm prepared to bust out a full line dance when the whole album comes, because I think she's so creative. And I think it's been really interesting to see how the Black country girls who are already in country are responding to it. And I think everybody has this tone of, we're really grateful for Beyonce coming over here, but we've been doing the work. And so I really hope what happens is attention is drawn, and I understand where they're coming from. Like, we've been here, we've been doing the thing, and for someone to come in, especially like a Beyonce who is just good at literally everything, I get how it can feel unfair. But I do genuinely hope that the Beyonce effect lingers and continues in this way, because I've seen people say my For You page has been changing. I'm seeing all the girls, and I'm really excited, and I've heard some good music myself, so I just hope nothing but positive things happen because of it. And tired of folks trying to drive a rift, but I didn't even intend to talk about Beyonce.
All about this, is this the online?
It was good.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah.
I just wanted to rehash a thing that I called my friends about when it was happening, and that was when Onika got on the internet. And I'm sorry, when Megan Thee Stallion got on the internet and said, I'm sick of you niggas, I'm sick of you bitches, hiss.
I just want to clarify, Megan got in the booth
Yeah,
and said that, not on the internet.
I like that.
But continue.
Someone is turning their leaf.
No. Continue
Okay.
your sentences.
This ain't the part I know, so I'm still here.
You know all the parts.
I don't know the beginning part. I don't know this part. I don't know what's happening.
She dropped his.
Yeah, when she
dropped
dropped
the
his.
record.
Never
the
heard
diss
that. I
record.
just know the antics.
Oh wow.
I don't,
See,
so then-
internet.
But I'll get. I'll jump in when my time.
Okay.
When it's my
What is
time.
your
Well, yes,
favorite
there's a diss record called Hiss, and there was a line or two very pointed at Nicki, but very devastatingly pointed. And a lot of the other lines had to do with men that, like Party, what's that boy name?
Drake.
The small one.
Oh.
Drake.
Tory.
And the small one.
Tory?
The best friend, and just anybody else who's had her name in their mouth. It was like I'm talking to everybody. But again, there were one or two lines that were very pointed at Nicki, and one of them was, y'all not mad at Megan, y'all just mad at Megan's Law. And I just feel like it's so old to be talking about this, but it's just so funny to me, the conversation that we had, and I want to have it again. And you know, Megan's Law is you can't go to the park or whatever, get your kids or something like that. I don't know, but pointed at two men in her life, and Nicki came to the internet doing a lot of things, and the barbs were unhinged. And I've heard some developments since then, not good ones, and I'll save those offline for us to discuss. But I just thought it was really interesting to see the discourse that unfolded about Nicki herself. And my perspective, I'll just say that my perspective was, I'm not a super fan of anyone. Not really. If anybody's doing anything that's questionable, I'm gonna say, well, that was questionable, girl. And my biggest qualm with Nicki Minaj is that there doesn't seem to be a through line of expressing her talent through music. There seems to be a lot of focus on side conversations and divots that have nothing to do with her, and just being very mean to a lot of the new girls on the scene. And I feel like I gave her grace. And even when she got with her husband, I gave her grace in that decision, because to me, for you to marry someone knowing that they have, or they're on the sex offenders list, that person is filling a void for you. That person is doing something that outweighs that status. That person is a lot for you. And I gave her grace in that, and I allowed her to mind her business. But I didn't think it was a good look at all, period, as a female hip hop artist. I didn't. And so where the defense came in about, oh, Stop talking about her and her family. Nicki Minaj made those decisions about her damn self, girl. That's a grown ass woman.
So
she did it to
my
herself.
Time for shine.
Okay.
Here's my time for shine.
All right.
Because we also want to clarify why this is tea for you on Hold for Maintenance, right? Me and one of my favorite people in the world were at odds about this conversation. We literally at the end of the night had to go, in order to preserve our friendship, let's talk tomorrow. And let's not discuss this anymore.
Okay.
Together. So okay, that point. This is the thing. Unfortunately, as a girl who was a barb since Nicki Minaj came out and we didn't see her face and we thought she was just some Chinese lady that Lil Wayne signed, because back then there wasn't as much visuals as there are now. Damn, am I old?
Okay.
But I had to unfollow her. Because the antics got a bit much. But I will say, to the point of the sex offender thing, I think that we really have to understand the law and how the law works. And we have to also know that when people are convicted of things, especially when it comes to being a registered sex offender, there's a lot of context that goes in that. What he was convicted for, do you guys know?
No.
I think you told me.
I know,
he was younger, like 16 or something.
Yeah, he was 15. The girl was 16, and he was charged for attempted rape.
16 and 15, like
Yeah.
switched. Did you
No,
say she was young?
He was 15. He was younger.
Okay.
She was 16, and she accused him of trying to rape her. So he was charged with attempted rape. And he took a deal, like many people do at young ages who don't have resources, family, whatever. You take a deal. He took the deal. And since then, his claim was that never happened. I was afraid. I was scared. I took the deal so that I wouldn't have to do as much time or whatever it was. And that's what it is. And I think the part where I don't like how every single chance people get to throw a shot at Nicki, there's so many things that you could throw a shot at Nicki about. You could talk about how she's stiff. You could talk about how she be on the internet more. Like, Lotto did something like, girl, do you tweet or do you rap? Because I can't tell the difference. You could do that. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that you can do to take a shot at Nicki. I think it's a low blow. I think it's whack. I think it's tired that people keep coming for this man as if he's a sex offender because, and I'm going to get to that part too, about what he did, because he, raped a young girl. Like, there's been a lot of things that I've seen on the internet about that. Like, he was messing with young girls and blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it's just really low. Now, am I also aware of the fact that he has paid this woman to say, like, can you stop talking about it? Like, because they've tried to pay the victim.
Him and Nicki.
They tried to pay the victim, him and Nicki, so that she could stop speaking about this because it kept affecting their lives. It kept being a topic of conversation. It was something that they wanted to put behind them. She's talked about how it really did happen and this has really hurt me and this is my story. And, so they've been at odds for that too. Again, that is their business. She's a victim. And at the end of the day, when a woman says that she's been sexually offended, you're going to have to give me proof before I'm not on her side. Like, she said she was assaulted and that's just what it is. Like, that's what it is. So yeah, there's a whole mess of that. But I just hate how, like, the conversation keeps going around like something that it's not. Like, that part to me is just distasteful.
Well, those two things aren't lining up for me.
Which part?
So if he deserves grace because he was young and he took a deal because he was afraid, but she insists that it happened, then the conflated idea of the story is he still did a thing to land on the offenders list that hurt somebody.
Correct.
And so that is what I'm saying.
But I don't think I'm a terrible person because my man at 15 years old got it, was in a situation with someone where he wanted to do something and passed her boundaries and then served his time for it. Because like I said in the group chat, there's a lot of grown-ass men that are still doing that today that don't understand the signs of no, the sound of no, the physical no. Mm-hmm. They keep going. So I don't feel like that makes Nicki a deplorable person or that's something that she has to be given grace for because she married a man who served his time for a mistake that he made. I don't think that has anything to do with her character. Now, if he was a sex offender because he was molesting little girls as a grown man.
Which brings me to her brother. So what do we say about that?
How is that? Is she supposed to stop being
What the brother do? Same thing?
He was
he's
molesting little girls. Or a little girl.
But the Megan's Law line was about all of it. And it just seeming like, I just feel like.
Will I get on a track and whisper, threaten you because you talked about my family?
Thank you, Sam.
No, but
Thank you,
will
Sam.
I?
Thank you, Sam.
But will I beat you up? For sure. For sure. And why am I? And to me, it's like, yeah, it's gonna get physical, especially because I know I'm dating this man while I'm dating this man because he got access to people who can hurt you. So would I probably do something crazy like that because I'm offended and hurt? Maybe. But would I do all those shenanigans and have people who follow me talking about being on your grave? No. Like, that's corny and weird and strange, and God is not happy with you.
Okay. Like, yes, I agree with you that there are so many things that Nicki Minaj could be critiqued for. I think that this is also one of them, unfortunately. And if I'm Megan Thee Stallion and I discover there's a Megan's Law that has to do with this directly, I'm gonna use the line. It's gonna be one of the best lines in hip hop history. If there is some shit called, I don't know, Linnaeus prerogative, I'm using it in a poem or some shit. I'm telling you, I'm gonna use it. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like the conversation that we had was very eye-opening to me because I didn't expect us to be at such odds about it. But I do think one of the biggest things about it, the reason why it deserves critique, is that Nicki Minaj's audience is one that could have fallen victim to both of those situations, like statistically at a very like large rate. And so it can remain a source of critique for her to have, and I get it. As I said before, she had her personal reasons. Whatever Kenneth Petty does for her supersedes that for her. Just like we started this conversation saying you're not gonna make everybody happy, that's what she needs to do for her. But I think she should also be prepared, and she was not prepared, as we saw with the diss track that came out. She should be prepared to receive that critique over and over again, because it just, especially in hip hop, especially in the game of, we actually used to kill niggas over diss tracks, and like we use that information to put in diss tracks how we killed niggas to get at you. So like on the grand scheme of that, like I just feel like it's super fitting, and I didn't expect for us to disagree on that point. But
what was my point? Did I have a point in this?
You agreed with me.
Okay.
After you got off the phone, he agreed with me.
Okay. I'm just a little turncoat at this point because I don't know. Were they
you,
sisters?
You agree.
You agree with her. The only thing he agreed with me on is the fact that like the whole dragging her because what's his name? Kevin?
I think it's Kenneth.
Kenneth, yes. Because Kenneth is this sex offender who's done these blah, 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 when people really don't know what he actually did.
And I want to say, like, I also hear your point in that's not his whole story.
Yeah.
That's not who he is as an individual. And like Nicki Minaj didn't just marry this terrible person, as I said 3 times. He's great to her. He's great for her. She loves him. She decided this person she wanted to marry. And I think it also opens the door for us to have conversation about how people might have made mistakes and people could learn from mistakes, but it becomes very difficult. And I feel like we've had a conversation on this podcast before about like where our level of forgiveness is, and if we know that a person has had a history of any type of abuse, are we okay with that? Will we be in relationship with them? And I think from the outside looking in, it just makes for really difficult conversation to have. I don't think people are just going to be like, oh yeah, I can see that, unless they've been in the situation. Because on the outside looking in, this is something we stay away from, and this is something we feel, especially because men have shown time and time again that they do not learn from their actions, or that they either become increasingly more violent after the first offense. It's a terrible terrain for people like Kenneth who may have turned a new leaf. And I do get that, and I do understand that. But on the other side of it, as you also hinted to, if a woman says that she's done something, we're going to need to see proof that it didn't happen.
Yeah. And
that's the way the cookie crumbles. Isn't that something she used to say?
Okay, well, so now moving on. Speaking of people who should be on a sex offenders list.
What?
Yeah. So I have a niggas online thing that I need to share with you guys because this deeply troubled me. Okay, so I'm going to find it. All right, cool. So have you guys heard about an esthetician? Her name was Jasmine DeMiracle, and it is not her time to shine.
Okay.
She had her daughter do, let me see. She writes on Instagram, when I say I'm passing down deeds and LLCs to my creation, I mean that. Miss Chloe did her thing today. Chloe is her daughter. She literally helped me wax 24 clients starting from 7:25 to 5 p.m. She made a total of $744, yada, yada, yada. Now, of course, nobody wants to see this video, and what I'm about to show you is not the video. It's just a creator speaking in front of the photo that she posted. But here.
What?
Yeah. And
what?
I hope they lock her underneath where they lock people underneath the jail.
Everyone needs to be locked up. Because I really try to give benefit of, even when you started with someone who needs to be on the sex offenders list. And you said, oh, Miss Chloe waxed 10 people. There's so many places you can wax. There's so many places you can wax.
And when I told Obio the story, I think that's where his mind went. Like, so like she waxed some arms.
I don't know if I think she should be in jail though.
The mother?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
What do you
think
think
all
she
of
should
the clients should be on the sex offenders list, and the mother should be on the sex offenders list and in jail. But back to you.
I don't know. It just sounds like ignorance to me. It doesn't sound like pointed. It doesn't sound like there was any,
Not
like,
negligence? Abuse?
No, not to me.
Wow.
I don't see that.
Explain though, because I can see
What
that
do you
point.
mean?
Because
by
I can
ignorance.
see a world where if you're a waxer, it's an intimate but not intimate encounter that you do. It's work for you. You're trying to pass on to your daughter the work ethic and the things, and this is your job, and you bring your daughter to your job, and what you do is wax. And I can see a world where in her brain, it wasn't a sexual thing. It wasn't romantic in any way. She's literally putting a joint and ripping it off and sending you to the next on your way. I could see a world where as a mom there wasn't any ill intent. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay for negligence, sure. It doesn't feel pointed to me.
I agree with you, and I don't see a clear-cut form of consequence for this, but I just can't imagine having my child be exposed to someone's nether regions like that. You know, I feel like that's abrasive within itself, and like I can't imagine that my child would be comfortable, and maybe my child is, and if my child is, we need to have some conversations. Is why are you this comfortable? But that's something.
How
like
old is the
looking
girl?
at the picture.
Sorry.
7.
Okay, what is that? What grade is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. 5.
Is that first grade?
Might be kindergarten.
That is kindergarten. So, and I'm going to say between 5 and 7. The people are saying 5, and I did hear somebody say 7, but she's a baby.
No, weird. No, come on, weird. Weird is in the space. Don't get me wrong. It's very weird. I'm not saying it's not weird. I just don't know if it's criminal, but it's weird.
The reason why it feels criminal to me is because children are already developing memories at that time. And to have a memory of the time that you had 24 grown people's crotches in your face as you waxed them, when you grow up and recognize what that
What's
is.
traumatizing about that, though?
And I was just about to say.
Okay.
I was just about to say, culturally, there are a lot of things that go on in other places of the world that are super normal to kids that are not traumatizing. So I do think context matters. I just think it's wildly inappropriate here in the U.S. That is my opinion. But I can literally, and like, I'm not even trying to sound dense or ignorant, but I just know that there are so many forms of work, like kids in Southeast Asian countries and in African countries that are doing that would seem like very adult things to do, but they're just working. It's like what labor to them. So in a world that's not this one and could be in some other hemisphere, this may not be seen as traumatizing, and it may be a completely safe environment, but I don't think it is here in the United States.
And there's so many worlds and cultures in which mothers roam the home naked, and it's not crazy to anyone, right? But I don't want to see my mom naked at any point in time. But
I won't be having my 5-year-old baby in front of nobody's crotch, me personally.
but I just, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And so as I'm listening to you guys, I'm hearing what you're saying.
Got it.
And I'm understanding the points, right?
Uh-huh.
But as a person who has these small people,
Uh-huh.
I just can't imagine. I understand the cultural parts too, because my culture is one of those cultures where like my aunties and
I was
my
gonna
mom
say.
and you know,
It's beautiful Caribbeans who we really. Hey y'all, what's going on?
like, so I get it, you know, but there's something about the family of it all and the context of it all versus
Fair.
like 24 grown people that I did not know. I was servicing them, and also just it was unnecessary. There was another way
Yeah.
that my mother could have taught me entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And
No, I
instead
agree.
Yeah.
she taught this. She decided this. I think it's embarrassing. It's uncomfortable. It brings up questions of why would you do this? And that's what's traumatizing for me.
And this was criminal to you. That's what
And
you're saying.
even
Okay.
to your point, there are other ways my mom could have taught me entrepreneurship. There are other ways I could have practiced this.
Yes.
I could be waxing arms.
You could be waxing arms. You could be
Mustaches.
sweeping up. You could be doing the register. You could. There's so many other things that could have happened. There's so many other pictures that she could have put up.
Why would she even post that? That's the point. That's the part that's getting to me. Why? Like, what's going on? That's why ignorance. I can't give it ignorance, OBO. I cannot, because there's not like, you don't feel lame, and again, that's not the best way to put it.
Or
but
weird.
you took the photo.
It is weird.
Why post it?
She was posting
You
her
were
boss
there.
daughter.
You looked at it happening. You additionally took a photo. Then you pressed post and made a caption of pride. And I don't. Help needs to be.
I
One
think
of
the
them-
context of work changes it for me though.
Okay.
No.
Like, it's kind of like a crowded room watching two 12-year-olds kiss is disgusting to
Whoa.
me.
There's a lot. Let's
Right,
not put.
but I'm gonna bring it home. But if you put them behind a camera and call it Disney, it's appropriate. It's work. And so I'm saying is, if you're putting, so
He just ruined Disney for me. in
I'm
one
just saying, right? Like, watching Raven Simone and whoever who kissed whoever in the schoolhouse, and everybody's like, cut. Okay, kiss, lean in a little bit more. Okay, you guys are looking romantic. Kiss like this way, lean your heads. Like, it sounds crazy, but it's work.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the context of where she was just waxing them for fun. Hey y'all, she just waxing coaches. That's a little weird. But in my mind, in her mind, she's working in the hey, no. To the left a little bit. Okay, put it down. Now press. Okay, now make sure are you comfortable? Make sure she's comfortable. Are you comfortable? Yeah, she's fine. Okay, cool. Now rip it. Like, the whole, to me, the context, to me, I could see a world where this is in the confines of work. It's not romantic or sexual. And she's just ignorant.
I'm so happy you said that, friend, because I was traumatized as you spoke about it. And so even bringing it back to the Disney part, right?
Right.
That's work. But if you speak to a lot of the Disney stars, childhood stars that
For
grew
sure.
up and you
Well.
ask them, that work was traumatizing. So many of them had their first kiss. Some of them didn't even know they were about to kiss until they got on set.
Boom.
Traumatizing. And when I think about, I will say, one of my first times getting waxed by a friend of mine, I asked her.
Was she a waxer though?
Yeah, she was
Okay,
waxed.
okay.
We weren't just
You got-
taking it. She was like, "Hey, you need to."
Let me give me a little wine.
Even
no,
that
that
one
sounds
time.
like the.
Do you remember that one time that one person was walking around that establishment? You trying to get waxed? No. Let
Yes,
me plan my wax out,
That's
please.
the thing. So yes, I asked her because it was uncomfortable for me. Like, was this ever uncomfortable to you at any point? Like waxing people, seeing their private parts and going through, because everybody got different types of private parts. People got stuff.
Are you like fully situations?
What do you mean?
You know, this gets gross for me.
Okay.
Are you like,
I'm so sick of you. What are you saying?
Like, are y'all like, fully like?
Is this happening while?
No, why you guys get a
Are you asking if I'm naked?
Yes.
No.
Oh,
just
Just
halfway
the bottom
down.
part.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. So,
If anyone
it's
was
not that
wondering
type
if
of-
OBO still like cooch, the answer
He
is
does
no.
not. That is
Yes.
correct. No.
So yeah, she said when she first started, it was uncomfortable, and she used to have to kind of tune herself out to like think about other things or like really be talkative with them. Like, it was uncomfortable seeing all of these different people's parts, because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get graphic because I want you to stay on this show, but I can imagine that after 24 people, and I hope they weren't all Brazilians. Maybe some of them were arms.
Brazilian includes the butt too, right?
Yes. I hope they weren't all people spread eagle in front of this little girl, but grown women have different things going on than little girls.
What do you mean different things going on?
You don't want to know.
Okay, that's enough.
And
Oh,
so,
in their private areas.
correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so,
I want to be grossed out. Explain that to me. What does that mean? Different things going on.
different things going on like hair bumps, discharge.
Got it. I'm about to say, isn't the same vagina? This is just
Absolutely not.
What comes out of it is always
What comes out of it is
different. And what it
different.
looks like
What's
is always
on it,
different.
what it smells like, all of that.
Does it
Like,
expand
Depends.
as you get older? Okay.
it's just this becoming
How
biology
we got
class
here
is
is
very
so
cute
much.
for me.
I've tried
I don't
to
mean.
dial
I'm
it
sure it
back.
gets bigger as you get bigger. I mean, like, does like
Well-
Oh, that's not a thing.
I mean, what do you mean?
Well, like for me, when I was a baby, my situation was a little different than it looks now.
Yeah. Okay.
So it grew, right? So I'm assuming yours grows with your size.
I'm ready to be done. I don't know how we got
Okay.
here, and it feels strangely
All right,
not
guys. Well,
okay.
thank you for being here.
Well, what a fun time.
Tune in.
What a fun time. We were supposed to end with a little review of Black History Month, but we are out of time. By the time we come back, is it still going to be Black History Month when we come back? I thought this was the last.
Yes,
Yeah,
it will.
Mm-hmm.
No, it won't.
It will be February
20th,
27th.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Well, we'll do an end of Black History Month episode then. And then we're going to hit you with Women's History Month with a little themed content. Yeah.
Are there any opinions of the people who got over it? Never mind. Are there any opinions of people who got waxed?
I haven't heard.
Are they less weird than the mother or more weird?
No,
There are. People
they're
said-
more weird. I'm
More
not
weird?
walking
More weird.
into a place.
I'm not letting
Yo.
the 6-year-old wax me.
And maybe I should say this
I'm
to Lene.
leaving. What are we
Yeah.
talking about? I'm leaving, and
Can you
I'm
imagine?
calling the police.
Okay, no. Can I set the scene real quick?
Yes.
Like, you for wax, what are you getting? Whatever. Cool. Lay down. I'm gonna come back in. Grown woman. In walks a body.
No, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm Donald.
Chilling.
You ever seen how the cartoons be like breaking shit and throwing plates trying to run out of somewhere? That's what I'm like. The whole place is getting torn up.
When I tell you I'm leaving
putting
with
on-
your thing wrapped around me, and I
Yeah.
will get dressed later because I don't know what.
Yes,
to
and I'm
say.
calling the cops.
Because in my brain, I watch too much Law and Order, and I really feel like now I found out about your child sex ring, and you're about to get
No,
me for
I'm
knowing,
calling
and
the
I'm
cops.
running out.
I'm calling the cops.
I want no parts.
You know what? She's lying. This didn't happen.
You saw the photo.
No, that was the photo she just staged. Because I didn't think about
She
the
photoshopped
people
it.
she did. I wasn't thinking about. You didn't find 24 grown women who were willing to let a 5-year-old wax them. That didn't happen. That's it.
And that looks like a white man in that photo to me.
That is a
That's a man?
lady.
Oh, all right. And we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week.
Cut this part.
We'll see you next week. All right. That was insane.